let the RF flow. Rolling through the static, he's a thunderous storm. Tuning into signals like it's blood to the norm. The night is young, the pilot's fierce. Changes in the zone with a heart that never fears. James the king of Buddha, shredding through the night. Power up the ring, let the radio ignite. 1810, he's screaming through the air. Calling all you hams, do you even dare? James the king of Buddha, heavy metal soul, crushing every activation, rocking out of control. In, but James is on the hunt. C2 blasting loud, this ain't no simple stunt. Ripping up the airwaves, every call sign's clear. James is raising hell, the king of atmosphere. From the beach to the box, he's a warrior of sound. Every cue is source of battle, every contact's crowned. Radio's on fire like a beast off his chain. James is here to conquer, there's thunder in his face. James the king of Buddha, shredding through the night. Power up the ring, let the radio ignite. 1810, screaming through the air. Calling all you hams, do you even dare? James the king of Buddha, heavy metal soul, crushing every activation, rocking out of control. Drums crashing hard, a symphony of steel. James is the commander, making airways kneel. Cymbals screaming loud, bending to his will in the realm of Buddha. James is king of the hill. James the king of Buddha, shredding through the night. Power up the ring, let the radio ignite. 1810, he's screaming through the air. Calling all you hams, do you even dare? James the king of Buddha, heavy metal soul, crushing every activation, rocking out of control.
What is up, Ham Radio? Kilo Echo 8 Papa Zoo November, the Ham Radio Adventure Guy. Thanks for stopping by, your one stop for everything Adventure Radio. It is Sunday, time for a little bit of shenanigans.
That's right.
Some great music, and some flexing of Dan's muscles. Look at him flex, guys. Woo!
I have them. Where?
Oh, I forgot. I'm the only one that can see the other camera of your toes.
Oh, yeah. I got the feet are kicked back. It's shenanigans. We're chilling, man. What's up?
Oh, not a whole lot, but I know what's up. These guys, always on my mind because I'm always talking to them, always hanging out with them. These guys are just absolutely awesome people. So thank you guys very much for everything you do, and including coming to tomorrow night's business meet call. So don't forget about that tomorrow night. Also, shout out to these guys who will get their first ever members video this week. Going to start a weekly video for just the YouTube members. So if you don't want to miss out on that video, you better click that button down there toward the bottom of your chat somewhere that says join, and you can get a little cool green name. So that's pretty cool too. Also, the ever-changing board. Only one change, Sierra Foxtrot Bravo jumping up on the board. Thank you very much for that. Everybody else stayed in about the same place besides somebody dropped off the bottom. And thank you very much, Kent, Kilo 9er Alpha Echo, for the off-stream Buy Me a Coffee donation earlier this morning. What's up, Dan?
Man, not a lot. Whiskey Charlie was first in the chat. And speaking of Kent, he was next. Kilo 9 Alpha Echo. And then Michael, Eastern Standard Time. Good to see you. And he said, hello from Kilo 4. Alpha. Apparently she's listening. Andy Cali. Hello, KO4 FSZ Antennas. Kilo Oscar 4 November. Lima. Smoking Poda says, D's are here on this Sunday. Alpha Echo 4 X-Ray Oscar. That's Georgia Parks and Propagation.
Recreation.
Not recreation. That's wrong, Chris. Our good friend. Whiskey Delta 4 Juliet Mike says, hello. Dad is in the cat. Dad is in the cat. You're not in the cat, Dad. I promise. You're in the chat. Kilo Delta 9 Uniform Victor Kilo. Hello. Gene McPhee from Killeen, Texas, N3XUS. Mike, 88KB. Kilo Oscar 4 Golf Bravo says, what's happening? And he says, James, please, can we have an activation after the stream? Because he still needs to get in the log. Chris, Whiskey 8 Oscar X-Ray, good evening. James, KI5 MBO, hello. Frequency Frontiers, KY4 GM, good evening. And My Toy Ostrich is here. And let me tell you, it's been a heck of a weekend. Georgia,
You know what?
Yeah.
Because you said that Mo said, please. if he would do a little short video clip of him going, please, and then proceed to sing, come on, baby, let me ride that donkey, and drop it in any Discord room, I will definitely go out for him.
That would be absolutely phenomenal. And Whiskey Zero, Charlie Golf Charlie is here. Man, Mo and Chris and Robbie and a lot of people have been busting their butts all weekend for the Georgia State Parks on the Air event, which is still going on now for another 2 hours. So congrats to them, man. I know it's been a long couple of days and almost over.
Hey, look there. Thank you very much, Eddie, for the super chat. And Eddie just dropped off the board today, and he just put himself,
right back on
there. So thank you very much there, Eddie. Appreciate you. Eddie, I did try to hear you on 20 meter CW today, and I could not hear you. Could hear people hunting you, but I couldn't hear you. But I did try to hunt you.
Say that again.
I did try to hunt him. I actually, listen, it was a special weekend. It was Georgia Parks on the Air. So you got to give them some support. And I actually got up at 7-something in the morning on Saturday.
You got a good park too.
Just so I could get a park that they were only going to be there at 8:00. And then the bad thing, I get there, it's on, and I listen, I can't even hear it. I'm like, great.
Don't you love it?
So I hear Dan working it, and he's like 50 million over on me. He's from Georgia, and he's 50 million over. I don't know what they're running at Centennial, but it wasn't what Dan was running. So I messaged him, and I was fussing at him. He said, well, here, just hop into Chillpad or whatever. And we ended up going to StreamYard, and where I could hear his radio, and I'd listen, and then I'd send from my radio. They could hear me from my radio, but I couldn't hear them from theirs. So
that was the Dan DR.
The Dan SDR.
That's right. But you got it done, and that's one of the I'll go out on a limb here and say, besides the islands that are rough to get to, that is the park to have in Georgia. Centennial Olympic Park is what we're talking about here.
Eddie said he got kicked out of the park too.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I looked at all my Georgia needed parks, and most of them are wildlife management areas.
Mine too.
I got a ton of wildlife management areas I needed. But out of all the state parks, I needed 3. And I was wrapped up at I don't know, very early that day of getting those 3, which I needed the one that Robbie was camped at, and I ended up getting it. Now I probably got an Oasis award there.
Yeah.
Because he was parking me every time I went somewhere.
I was in the same boat. I don't need any of the state parks, so I didn't pick up any new to me parks this weekend, but had fun regardless. Thank you, Georgia activators, for actually going to 40 meters. But the downside of that is I worked a lot of them on 40 meter late shift last night. So 40 meter pickings this morning were pretty thin, or I would have duped them, right?
Dude, the bands.
So I'm kind of glad I did.
The bands all weekend have just sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, now late shift was fine, but all weekend during the day, the bands have just been absolutely horrible. I mean, You know,
Holy crap. Hey, Richard. Kilo 6 Romeo Delta Juliet. How you doing, buddy?
So Friday I was out dodging tornadoes and flooding.
Naders.
And then Saturday I was dodging way more flooding. So it was a eventful weather weekend too, because
Yeah, it really screwed with the bands too, because everything was really crashy and noisy and everything else.
I did happen to get Charlie Golf Charlie in New Park in West Virginia for him. I was out doing one of my runs, and I was like, you know what? I don't got nothing really that I need to do. I was like, Chris needs this park. And I messaged him. I said, you need this park, don't you? He said, yeah. I said, I'll be there in an hour. And there I went.
You've been the New Park gifter in West Virginia last week, haven't you?
Yeah. I've been trying. Trying. I gave some people some new parks in Kentucky too. So
they dropped a whole bunch in where was it? Was it Idaho? Illinois? So yeah, if you could take a trip out there, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, I mean, you never know about me where I end up to. So,
if you are a sovereign citizen, does that mean you own all the parks? That means, okay, if you're a sovereign citizen, you can actually run like a 2,000 fur and just activate them all at the same time. Because if you zoom out far enough and get them all in the same view on the map, that must mean they're in the same entity.
According to the people on the POTA Facebook page, if it's in the green,
yeah,
it's all in the same park. So, I did happen to make me a new map the other day with my green screen, and now every park in the United States of America is in the green. So tomorrow I will be going out and doing a 4,000 fur.
Now, see, I thought it was based on your zoom level. So whatever parks you had visible on the map right there, you could just do it as a fur.
Well, that's why I zoomed out far enough.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I got all of them in the States, so that's how that works according to the POTA Facebook page.
Yankee Victor Delta has come off the sidewalk and came into the chat. Hello.
Oh, I'm sure she's still on the sidewalk.
Never know.
Oh.
No, it's been a fun weekend, man. It's been long. It's been fun until 11, 12 o'clock-ish, and then everybody goes over to 20 meters. And
I don't know. I don't know that I would call it fun. It's been productive for me.
Yeah.
I got plenty of stuff done, but this rain is it. So, if it's raining, I can sit under shelter. I can sit in my car, and I can do POTA. But do you know how hard it is to try to hunt satellites from either of those places? It don't happen. So
right.
I'm kind of jonesing the satellite hunting a little bit. And you know what? If anybody is new in here that joined because of my satellite hunting video, hello, and let us know you're here to talk about satellites, because we can do that on a Wednesday stream. We don't talk about anything radio on a Sunday stream. Well, we do, but we don't. But I have noticed because we went, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, which was rare, because normally every week I got a set number of subscribers that comes in. It's just like clockwork. And then we went 3 or 4 weeks and didn't have any new subscribers. And I dropped that satellite video and we jumped up quick. And I was like, wow, that's cool. So hopefully we're getting a new tier of people in.
It's something that I'm looking about getting into as well, just to have something else to dabble in. I figure I'll get me an antenna in Huntsville. And then next Huntsville in 2026, I'll probably pick up a radio. That's a jab at James, if anybody didn't catch that.
Listen. It's like getting a tattoo. You don't just go out and get a tattoo that's on the wall. You have to really make sure it's something that you want.
That is true.
So, you know, I
I'm go ahead.
actually got part of my bag for my kit. So eventually I won't have to be set up on a table.
You ain't got to worry about pulling it off the table either.
Yeah. Well, no, I used a bigger table. That the table that was on that video was not the table that I pulled the radio off the night that I was trying to get into the ISS. That was a little television, a little food tray stand that just slide under your couch or whatever.
Eddie got my back. He said he's going to send me 2 booth wings so I can run the satellite.
There we go. Hey, thank you very much for the super chat.
I'll be really interested to see the scores for the Georgia POTA, and because I mean, so this year I participated solely as a hunter. I didn't do any activations this year because, well, I mean, I have my reasons, but the I'd be interesting to see how they did because I hunted everything I could hear. For the most part. I even did some digital, some FT8, FT4, just to play around with it. A lot of CW, a lot of voice. But I know I can't hold a candle to anybody who was serious that was outside of the state of Georgia. Like if you were in Pennsylvania, West Virginia, around in there, let's say, you have a great advantage over in-state hunters because you can get them on 40, 20, and 17 probably even. So I'd be very interested to see who's on the who's going to be on the top 100 list this year.
On the typical, yes, but the way the bands were, it was not that. Well, I'll tell you what. On Saturday, my first activation, I can't remember which band I went out and did on the first one. I don't think it would have been 40 because I know people were hearing people on 40. I think it may have been 20. And somebody told me that I was the first contact they heard today on that band.
Wow.
And I was
That's crazy.
Okay.
Every now and again. Yeah. So every now and again, I could get somebody on 20. I mean, if I really, if I put in the effort, like I worked Robbie a couple times on 20 ground wave and a couple others on ground wave, but it takes a lot of strain to do that, believe it or not. Had visions of PZN calling CQ inside of a nadir funnel. We're not in Kansas anymore.
I chose the wrong day to do that rove. We will say there were times during that rove that I can't say that I was not thinking, well, you done messed up this time. And then you get there and you're like, okay, where's cover at in case I need to go to it?
Was that the same day I texted you and said, hey, are you alive?
Yes, that's the same day. Yeah, it was definitely not the day to be out doing the rove that I was doing, especially because there was at one point where I set it apart for 35 minutes waiting for some sort of clearing just to activate.
Yeah.
Not that I was worried about the rain, but the wind and the lightning was pretty brutal.
So I tried to explain to my toy ushers today. He said, I wish Dan was in a park every time I went to hunt somebody because he could hear me all day long. But I tried to explain to Chris today that 40 meters in Florida only works in the month of February. It is blessed in February, and all other months you can just hang it up. But no, you're always loud here on 40, Chris. It's like me throwing spitballs at you, though. For 40 meters, you're not that far away at all.
When he's been hunting me lately, he's been loud.
Yeah.
So, because there was a while when he was hunting me, he was really being light. He's been loud lately. So
there is a list of official POTA sites in Texas, and I'll tell you how to get there. If you open up your web browser and go to POTA.app, and then the little hamburger menu, bring it down and go to park list. And right there, you can type in search for location, type in Texas, and then go to the drop downs. You can see all of them right there in Texas.
Wait, you can search for your state without going down the list?
But yeah, just type Texas, and it'll take a while to search because a lot of data it has to chomp through.
Oh, okay. So it probably takes just as long as scrolling down to start. So the way I do it is I go to park list, I scroll down to United States, and then it gives you, you know, Alaska, blah 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 blah, and then it says United States of America. So then I click on United States of America. Then I scroll to what state. But here's the problem with that. That may not give you all the parks that are technically in Texas. It could. It could. But if there is a trail or something like that that is in multiple states that goes through Texas, and the pin is in another state, it will not list that in the Texas parks. And I have yet to find a way to find out. Like, for example, I know the Lewis and Clark goes through Kentucky. There's no place that I can go that I know of, and maybe somebody can correct me, that I know of, that I can go see that I've worked the Lewis and Clark in Kentucky, which I know I have.
Right. Yeah,
But
POTA is creeping up. We're creeping up on 70,000 parks worldwide right now. And that's a little over 12,000 just here in the United States. So POTA's growing.
So if anybody in the chat does know how to do that, let me know, because I'm trying to find 3 parks in Kentucky that I have not activated, that I have no clue what they are because they're not on the list.
Right. Hey, Mo, finish your question there because it kind of got cut off. He has a question about a new technician in the club who has there it is. According to him, as long as he can hear the operator and he spots them, that is contact. No, there has to be some kind of exchange of information. Some kind. Now, there's no official exchange of information.
So this may have derived from, I'm not going to say a name, but there was an idiot who gave a POTA form, and he tried to say that if you were doing FT8 and calling CQ POTA, and all of a sudden 17 people calls you back, that you don't actually have to work them. You can log each one of them as worked. And that dude got chewed out by somebody way high in POTA, and I won't mention the name there. I was present for this, because I even looked at the guy who was way high in POTA. I said, are you going to seriously let him say that? And he did. He jumped his tail because there was people that took that. That would be like me doing my initial late shift pileup and hearing 17 people logging them and then not even work none of y'all and say QRT.
That's
you
right.
know, you have to do an exchange with the person.
Yeah, if you just hear them and want to log them, that, like Chris said, that's called being a shortwave listener.
Yeah.
You can respot them all day long, but you're not going to be in their log. I mean, anybody can respot anybody they hear, but the activator is not going to put you in their log to count for POTA credit unless they call your call sign, you call their call sign, and you hear each other. You know, I mean, there's no official exchange, but I have to call James, and James calls me back, and I can go mashed potatoes. Okay, bye. You know.
7 times.
Hey, 80 meters. I love me some 80 meters, man. I wish more people would do it.
I do too, but right now, in the spring of the year,
Yeah,
it's so much lightning crashes on there. I've did it recently, but it's just it's a little rough at times.
did
really well. I did really well on 60 meters the other night, though.
Yeah. Turd was on 60. Got him too. I finally figured out my 60 meter in the Yazoo situation because it was weird. I had to figure out how to get it to tune because using an external tuner, it's really rough because you can't send on the 60 meter frequency unless you're in memory mode. In memory mode, you can't drop down and do like an AM carrier because it only allows SSB So I had to figure out a weird way to get all my tuning points set in my tuner, but we got it straightened out, so now I'm good to go on 60.
Just curious, how did you figure out to do it?
I opened up Audacity, and I did just 1,000 hertz sine wave,
Mm-hmm.
and I held my microphone to my speaker, and I played it, and I keyed up my radio.
So you want me to tell you a little secret?
Yeah, please.
So you have a Yaesu. I don't know that this will work for an Icon, but I do know it would work for a Yaesu. And on Yaesu, they automatically put you to the center frequency, like you're supposed to be. So, for example, 5405. There's a 5405 SSB channel and there's a 5405 CW channel.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to the CW channel. You can turn your keyer to off to where it's not paddle, hold it in for a carrier and tune it.
I did that the other night, actually. I made a contact with somebody, and I turned my key sideways and turned my keyer off, and I use it as a straight key. Just playing around. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, but that's how I tune 60 meters.
Okay, that makes sense. It would make it a lot easier that you didn't have to use memory channels, but I understand why they do it, because we are secondary users on 60 meter band, and they want to make sure you don't go outside of your little channel there.
Eddie said, between lightning crashes and colonoscopies, where do you find the room? I'm assuming you're meaning on 80 meters.
Yeah.
There's normally plenty of room on there. I don't normally, you'll have the crotchety come at you sometimes, but.
Well, I just hope there's not a lightning crash while you're having a colonoscopy, because that will scare the crap out of you. Just saying.
Yeah, a G90 would probably tune any band you want. That tuner just
listen to this guy.
A work of art.
Listen to this BS right here. This guy. Mahalo, by the way. 80 is dead by the time it opens here. Now this guy, KH6WI, that guy right there, made an 80 meter contact. What was it? What was it? About 2:33 in the morning, something like that?
About 3:30 in the morning, actually.
About 3:30 in the morning from Hawaii, Alohaville, over to West by God, Virginia on 80 meters.
Actually, I think I was somewhere in Kentucky at that point during the road.
Somewhere in the same area.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. And PP Man, give a shout out to PP Man. PP Man made a contact 80 meters back to that guy who said 80 is dead by the time it opens, running 5 whiskeys to Hawaii from Michigan. That's incredible. Bang, bang. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you. And strong 5'9" is in the house. Ken, good to see you, buddy.
Actually, I felt really, really, really blessed the other day because Eric actually commented on my video and gave me a good comment on my satellite video. So
there you go.
Eric's a satellite whiz, so yes, I was quite happy to see a good comment from him.
If he didn't roast you for doing something wrong, that's a good.
I'm sure in person he'll roast me for doing something wrong.
No, Eric's real helpful.
So, but yeah,
I find it weird. All right. So there's certain people, and Eric, I'm going to pick on you for a second because I'm the same way. There are certain people that if somebody says something stupid, they'll straight up tell you that was stupid. And a lot of people don't like to hear blunt, honest truth like that. And for some reason it offends them. I don't know why, but if I do something stupid, I mean, dude, say, Dan, that was idiotic. That was stupid. I'm not going to be offended by it. I'll probably be like, yeah, you know what that was. No, Eric's a good guy. He has a lot of knowledge and he loves to share his knowledge. And if I have a question about anything satellites, I'm definitely going to ask him. And
absolutely,
just anything in general, I'm going to ask somebody smarter than me. Because if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong damn room. That's the way I look at it.
I mean, first off, hey George, good to see you in the chat. but that's the one thing that I really like about my YouTube channel. I'm going to toot my horn here, because if somebody wants to see a video and it's not something that I know very much about, I'm just going to bring somebody else in to talk. I'm not that YouTuber that's going to sit here and tell you, "Oh, guys, check out my Node Red."
Yeah.
You know, no, I don't know nothing about Node Red. I don't know. I would of course have Kyle come in and talk about Node Red. I'm just not that YouTuber. So it's just great. That's why on my satellite video, I even across the top of the screen, this is not a tutorial.
Right.
This is just a beginner trying it and having fun.
Don't try to learn from this madness.
No.
But it'll be interesting to see, because you're documenting your journey. And that's another thing that, well, let me do your satellite first, and then I'll dive into what I was thinking. You documenting your journey on satellites, you can look back at this in a year from now or so and say, man, look how far I've come. I mean, I was a complete moron, this first video, versus now, I'm getting my QSOs in and out quick. I'm hearing familiar voices, people that are most of the time on passes, things like that. And that folds into, if you're learning CW, record yourself very early on in your learning process, especially your first activation or the first time you hunt or something like that, because you can look back on it a year from now and see the tremendous progress you made, where the progress in CW is kind of incremental, gradual. And if you don't have anything to reference about how bad you were, you're not going to realize how much you've gotten better. So document your progress in anything you do. It's always a fun thing.
So Eric says it was actually good. You were patient and didn't try to control the pass, which is something you got to do in satellites. But that is something that is hard for me, because I am totally used to controlling everything when it comes to radio,
Right.
because in POTA, if I do not control my pileup, it gets stupid.
You'll have some idiot in there saying QRZ and again.
Yeah. like if I just sit and be quiet for like 2 minutes, people will still just keep calling and calling and calling, and people will just actually tell them QRZ and again.
That was so funny. Hey, Whiskey One Whiskey Charlie has showed up. He said he had to organize a sock drawer. That means you got rid of all the crispy ones. Put them in the wash.
Don't have none of the crispy ones near Terry, because he will sell them things on his Etsy store.
That's
right.
Hey,
thank you very much for your taxes. I appreciate it.
So he was in Whiskey One Whiskey Charlie was in what park was it? Natchez Trace or something like that. And he sent a message. He goes, "Hey, if I move to a different state, that would count as a new activation, right?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, pulling over now."
Does it? No, wait. Does it count as a new activation, or does it just give you credit for both states?
You'll need 10 in both. Yeah.
Yeah. I know you need 10 in both, but does it actually? So all right.
Yeah. It should be a completely separate activation, because it's a different entity.
I want to test that. Test that.
Should be.
I really want to test that. I want to go, and I can do this real easy. Yeah. I have multiple. I can do it, but I could actually activate Lewis and Clark, West Virginia, Kentucky, and Ohio.
Mm-hmm. Now the only downside of that is right now the POTA spot system doesn't know the difference. So if people are hiding their hunted spots, you won't show back up. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I'm not worried about getting 10 contacts.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm worried about. Is POTA booting out duplicates?
Okay. It will be a different activation, but it won't count towards Rove credit since it's the same base park.
That's what I was wondering.
There you go.
Okay.
That makes sense. That does make sense. When Charlie Golf Charlie said when Brent and them did Cumberland Gap, they got all 3. You should. but those 3 should only count as one for a Rove award. Yep, that makes sense.
Okay. I bet you I know a park that can count as 2, and it's the same park, and it's in 2 different states.
Oh, that's a different number.
They got different numbers.
Yeah, and by God, don't combine them. I like it like it is.
That's right. Don't combine them at all, because if you're not a person who doesn't set up your rows correctly, aka Victor, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying who it is. I'm just saying Victor. I'll still never forget that. He got me on the Kentucky side, and he's like, all right, I'm going to Virginia. I'm like, cool. So I'm like, all right, it's been 15 minutes. It's about time for him to set up. And I'm like, I'm not gonna hop bands right now or nothing. I'm just gonna wait on him. No.
Interesting. All right, so Chris said the 3 at the same park, different states, same park reference number, but different states did go toward his Rove credit. Now I have not looked at the underlying code to actually see how that's calculated, so I don't know which one's right or which one's not. I would assume that it would not. That to me would be the correct way. But hey, I mean, I don't know for sure. We're 50-50. Let's flip a coin, see what happens. Yeah, but you think, I mean, I would think it should. Well, let me think about that. It should go towards Rove credit because technically you're in a different entity.
Well, I mean, if you're in a different state, you're definitely in a different entity.
Yeah. I think it should go towards Rove credit.
See, and this is where they could fix this problem that I'm having of not being able to find these 3 trails or whatever they may be. Is if they did just these give them their own numbers,
right?
Oh, I know. We're already on 5-digit numbers. Big deal. The world lost their mind about that, and nobody even sweats it no more. You
know what else nobody sweats is the K to US, and that caused an uproar for about a week. And the VE to CA and the HI to DO and all that stuff. But hey. Yeah, see, Eric's saying he didn't get credit for those. Like I said, I have not looked at the underlying code of that, so I don't know how it's calculated. But if I wrote it, I would write it in such a way where you would get Rove credit for it. I think that's fair. It'd be fun.
I've never tested that theory.
It'd be fun to do a 5-park Rove all in the same park, just different states. Like Lewis and Clark do like 5 states in a day.
Well, now the Lewis and Clark, when I do those 3 states, it's not like I'm going to be setting and moving I actually have to drive.
Yeah,
but it'll be 7 or 8 minutes each way. I
mean, if you did a 5-park Rove in the same reference number, just different states, so you visited 5 states, I think that might be a good idea for a future award. Yeah.
Here's another question, and it's not Eddie's question. Made me think about this. He says I don't hardly type in park to park numbers, just let it be what it is.
Yeah.
But here's my question: if I'm doing Lewis and Clark, West Virginia, and I park to Park Eddie, and then I go to Lewis and Clark, Kentucky, and I park to Park Eddie, and then I go to Lewis and Clark, Ohio, and I park to Park Eddie. In Eddie's log, he keeps putting in 4572. It's going to dupe him.
It'll dupe. Yeah. The receiver, whoever you calls, has to log that as just something unique. Something unique. It doesn't have to be a park number. All the SIG info or POTOREF field is used for is to help dedupe. It doesn't even have to be a park number, just something.
Are you sure about that?
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Because I've accidentally had like a slash in there before, and it reject my log for it.
Well, yeah, well, it can't be a special character, but it can be like the letter A or the letter B or whatever, just something to cause those duplicate entries not to be a duplicate.
So Dan has just gave tonight. If you to park me tonight instead of your park number, I'm putting in apple bottom jeans.
Yeah, there you go. And if they're in the twofer, so if somebody parked
If
you
they're
with
in
two
a twofer,
cars,
I'll
you just
also
put
put
A,
boots with a fur.
Yeah, you can just put A and B or boots with a fur. Yeah, it doesn't matter as long as it's something that makes them non-duplicate contact. So Eddie would have to put in something non-duplicate there so the system wouldn't reject them. Yeah. If somebody tells me you're in a threefer, just put 1, 2, 3. Which Polo makes that a lot easier because you can actually just commify the park numbers. So you don't have to. I remember when I was running N3FJP, you'd have to log 1, then hit Alt R to recall it, change the park number, enter Alt R to recall it. Yeah.
All right. So Mike says, any plans for Lost River WMA? We're supposed to go this week, pending weather. I don't mind to go in the rain at all, but when I'm going with another person, I don't like doing dual ops in a car. I don't know what it is. Dual ops in a car seem miserable to me. I don't know why, but it's just not my thing. So we're gonna if we can get a good 2 days in a row, me and Terry plan to go.
Is it dual ops in the car or is it Terry?
Any dual ops. I don't like dual ops in a car. I like my radio to be in the front seat.
Just put it in Terry's lap.
You know, I do. I like my radio to be in the front seat. I don't like my radio behind me. I can't watch my radio. And I'm in love with my radio. I like to stare at it, make faces at it and stuff.
Oh, here's a little satellite tidbit for information here. He learned that doing satellites. If you work somebody on, say, SO50 and then the ISS, POTA will dupe that. But if you put the satellite name or something unique in the SIG info field of your log, it will undupe it.
So I've not done any satellite POTA yet, but it is definitely in the plans. Matter of fact, they're currently building a observation tower at Tomlin for people to observe the elk and stuff. And it's pretty, first off, Tomlin, where I go, is really high. That observation tower is considerably higher.
I smell an end-fed getting dropped off the top of that thing.
So, I at least plan on doing some satellites from up there.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll run me off doing that. Yes, especially CW dual ops in the truck. Right, Brian? Especially when I'm using a paddle for the very first time ever to make that contact. Not a paddle, a straight key, I mean.
Jumbo Marshmallow said that's where you always go. Panther and Tomlin.
That's all I ever do. Panther and Tomlin.
That's right.
That's what she says.
Yeah, you never go to Chief Logan anymore. I mean, every time you take a picture at Chief Logan, you're just sitting in your chair with your green screen behind you. Oh. Hey, see you, George. Bang, bang. Good to see you in here, buddy.
Always a pleasure, buddy. Always a pleasure. For the Duke of Alabama.
Yes, sir. Yeah, there were some old Georgia POTA event brought some people out of the woodwork this weekend that we haven't heard from in a while. So
now I just need Georgia to do a wildlife management on the air weekend.
Yes, because the ones I'm missing are not state parks. You're right.
I need a wildlife management area weekend, and then the next weekend can be the historical site weekend.
Yeah.
And then I'll be good.
Absolutely. Awesome, Todd. Made it out to 75-44 today. Made 40 contacts. You know what I didn't hear a lot of this weekend, surprisingly, and I heard a few, were QSO party folks. Believe it or not, I didn't hear too many of them.
You know, I I don't think I heard any, but I wasn't hunting. But those three, I hunted. Well, no, I didn't even hunt those 3 parks that I needed. I hunted the one, and then the other. No, I hunted 2 of them, and then the third one got me park to park like a dozen times.
That's what I was thinking too, Eric. A lot of bad weather up there in those areas. Because what was it? Mississippi, Missouri, and what was the third one going on?
Kentucky, West Virginia.
Uh,
Yeah.
oh, really? Were they?
Yeah, we actually had a tornado about.
No, the QSO parties. No.
Oh, okay. No, I'm talking about the tornadoes.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. But
Yeah, there was a tornado about 5 miles south of where I'm sitting right now.
jeez.
And
But wait,
my mast stayed up all weekend.
hell yeah. We got some pretty good wind down here. When that little squall line came through, the majority of it went north of us, but we got some really, really, really good wind. And I'm every now and again I'd look out the back door and I'd kind of look up at the hex beam, going, "All right, she's still there."
Chris made a good point. There is only 4 lights, guys. That needs to change drastically.
Oh, our friends over at Poda Power did a live today, and they did an end-fed kite flying. Somebody's done that before, hadn't they?
I've done that before. It's absolutely
Yeah.
great. It's a fun way to activate.
I think the next thing we need to see is the end-fed dropped off the tower at Tomlin. Now, I have a plan because I tried to do this at Grand Bay because there's a big watchtower at the end of the path, whatever you call that, the boardwalk. And I did try to activate it once, but my problem was the end-fed was too close to the metal structure of the tower, and it was not acting good at all. So when they finally get everything repaired, I'm going to bring my Gigaparts mast, and I'm going to put the wire on the end of it, and I'm going to sit on the end of so I'm going to sit on the big end of the Gigaparts mast. I'm going to extend it out horizontally and let the end-fed, not that way. I'm going to sit on the flat end. I'm going to lay the Gigaparts mask horizontally on the ground and then sit on it. That sounds better, doesn't it? And then I'll extend it out. And hopefully it doesn't hurt too bad. And just let the end-fed hang off that'll get it, 20 feet away or so. Yeah, that's going to make a good short, wouldn't it?
After a stream, I need to call and check on Terry too, because I just realized I have not seen him in the chat, and he did not hunt me at my second park today.
He's right there. He said he supports the LDHG HDTV community.
Okay, well, he is here. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see him in the chat.
Yeah, buddy.
No. I figured I would see him in the chat immediately when you said you were going to sit on the big end of your Gigaparts pole. As soon as I didn't see him in the chat, I automatically worried about him.
Yeah, his ears kind of perked up and said, He's
like,
going to do what?
He's like, great idea. Let me go try this. Let's try this big spider beam I got.
Ouch. How about the newer Gigaparts one, the HD, the HDs.
Yeah, I don't have the HD, nor do I need the HD.
Speaking of D, I did do a short. I don't know if you've seen it, about why 40 meters does not like the D.
No, I did see it.
Yeah, very educational, actually. Yeah.
Maybe I should do a short on why 20 meters don't work in West Virginia.
Yeah, because you're looking at the side of a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it'll work if you're. I guess if you're straight above you might get some good contacts.
Oh, well, when I go to Tomlin,
yeah,
it works just fine because I'm on top of the world.
Yep.
So It's funny because if Jamie would look at my activations at Chief Logan and my activations at Tomlin, she would see there is a considerable difference there.
Oh yeah. Have they opened the road over Chief Logan yet?
Oh yeah, it's been open.
Now you got the
Yeah.
fast way to get to where you're going instead of all the way around.
It's it's actually funny because I haven't went up the old way, but one time I went Saturday before the club meeting. I went up the old way because I went that way to eat. And it's funny because I seen these apartments that were burnt down. So I get to the club meeting, and after the meeting, I asked Tristan because he's a firefighter too. I was like, "When did that apartment by Gino's burn down?" He's like, "About 4 weeks ago." Oh, I always go over the hill with Chief Logan. I'll never go away. Yeah.
Terry said he's been getting a lot of rain up there. It's very moist outside.
Yeah, I see Terry's comment.
Yeah.
So yeah, that driving over the hill to at Chief Logan it's just quite accessible for me to get other that's we were talking about Victor not planning his rove right, and it took him an hour and a half to get. I don't know how we got sidetracked, but it took him an hour and a half to get from Breaks Interstate Kentucky to Breaks Interstate Virginia. And that's why when he was at Huntsville and I did my rove planning thing, I made sure and planned my rove up that area, and I could show how you could go from there to Virginia, and it's like 11 minutes.
All right.
He's like, "Well, I asked a ranger." I was like, "Rangers don't know everything. You asked a Kentucky ranger how to get to a Virginia park. He probably sent you the wrong way intentionally."
You got to ask one of those Mingo County locals.
Yeah, I mean, there's that's the thing about activating in West Virginia. If you're willing to take the roads that are available to you, you can get to parks faster. I'm not going to say it's going to be as comfortable or as good on your vehicle.
Yeah, you'll need a new set of U-joints, but yeah.
But if you're willing, just like if you wanted to go from Cabway Lingo State Park to East Lynn State Park in like an hour instead of taking 2.5, you can. Good luck.
Got to know those back roads.
Good luck. It's not just the back road, just the backwoods people that you're liable to run into too.
What's that boy doing driving down here?
Again, that's up there in Breeden.
In Breeden, yeah.
Oh, well. All right. We are coming on the top of the hour, and either Frank or Charlie should have a video next. Somebody's liable to tell us. But what you got coming up, Dan?
Man, not a whole lot, and I'm going to enjoy next week. Hopefully everybody else will too. You got another hour and 9 minutes in the Georgia Parks on the Air event. So if you hear somebody on 40 meters or 20 meters or 17 meters, CW, FT8, FT4, RIDI, let's make PSK 31 great again. Whatever mode they're at, give them a shout, give them some points. Nice shirt. And other than that, not too much, man. What's up?
Not a whole lot. Well, after this stream, I'm going to go over to Discord and I'm going to look and see if anybody posted any videos of singing Let Me Ride That Donkey. And if so, I'm going to go do an early late shift. Oh, other than that, tomorrow morning, I got to leave kind of early because I got to run down to my bank and get some stuff fixed. Shout out to my bank, Huntington Bank. They're really awesome people because their fraud protection is really, really good people. Because, a few weeks ago, Sherry's bank got hit. And yeah, she got her money back, but it took several weeks. They actually stopped these people that got my card. They stopped them on the very first thing. It was like 1 something in the morning. I woke up. Yeah, I was asleep actually. I woke up and got a text that said, "Is this you?" And I said, "No." They immediately stopped them and they got zero money out of my account. But
nice.
So shout out to them. But anyway, going down there. So I will probably hit some Forks of the Coal, maybe even some Milk River. Go down there and invade Terry's neck of the woods. But I'll definitely hit Forks of the Coal for sure, because that one's easy for me to get when I go down there. Other than that, video dropping and activating every day, and hopefully the rain's going to stop so I can do some more satellite hunting, because I'm jonesing that. One day next week, hopefully me and Terry will be heading for our rove and getting Mike the wildlife management area he needs. So
I tried to buy a Spirit instead of Dr. Pepper and it triggered the fraud alert. See you, Eric. Thanks for joining us tonight, buddy.
He ain't right, man. He ain't right. Although I did drink another blackberry Dr. Pepper today. They're not bad. They're not bad at all. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. And if there's a Ride Me Donkey video in Discord, I'll be out activating. You can get me on the air, guys. 73.
See you.